On this beautiful day, it feels like summer is here. In coming to the temple, I saw the Cape traffic pick up once again in full force. So if you're not watching services in traffic, be thankful. You're in the right place. So for those new to Zoom, although we've been doing this for quite some time now, we encourage you to place your screens on gallery view on the top right. And then there will be times in the service that we ask you to type a name of perhaps a person you're thinking of in the chat room, which is down below. And because we can't all speak at once, we have to keep people muted until they're called on to speak, until the very end when we'll wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. But for now, let's wave to each other because it's nice to see each other. It's good to see all of you. I encourage you to flip around pages. And Cantor, can we begin in song?
Absolutely, yes. But I first have to comment that I don't think I've ever seen Josh in a tie. Wow. Let's join together. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la Chadodi melody to welcome our beloveds. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya 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 la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la
Sounds good. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. You may notice that this week I am the only one in the sanctuary. Last week there were several of us, but we realized that it was difficult with the sound, and so we're fixing things. And so tonight I'm the only one in the sanctuary, but next week our hope is to have several musicians in the sanctuary along with our two cantors, because I guess it's officially Cantor Safran's last Shabbat as our senior cantor next week. So we'll be singing a lot together next week. Max, if we can mute everyone at this time, great. And I just want to say that it's been a really wonderful and busy week at the temple. Our community continues to engage in such a deep and meaningful way. We do have 10 groups continuing to go to various prisons and tutor prisoners. And we received a beautiful note from one of them who was released this week. And I just want to share this letter. He wrote, "Dear Karen, Nina, and Rob, the tutors from our synagogue, I am so grateful of each one of you and the further support of TBE. Thank you. And I will have all the support possible. I can use it. I feel so grateful and humbled by you all. Thank you. Whatever you need of me, I will be there. Anytime I can go with you to the temple, if everyone would to meet and speak, just a thought. I know a lot of communities get involved in partakers, the program, but I don't know how many get to see the fruit of the efforts some community members take in partakers, other than hearing from those that actually participate and share with their own community. Again, just a thought. Well, this will be my last email until I leave prison tomorrow morning. I have this email from you and will stay in touch. I love you, Nina, Rob, and Karen. Love, Joseph. So I do hope that we're able to welcome Joseph into our building one day along with our community. We have these 10 groups meeting, and it's incredible to see lives transformed due to the work of members of our community. So we have a lot to be thankful for. This is Shabbat. Let us celebrate. Let us rejoice. Let us give a heart tap to each other. And Rabbi Sapphire, if you'll continue with announcing for our candle lighting.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are blessed to welcome Shabbat and also welcome the weekend that our beloved Cantor Shanna will marry her beloved Josh. And we welcome their family and their community, their circle of friends with us this Shabbat. So, Cantor Zell, it is no surprise that your parents and Josh's family are here with us, but maybe it will be a surprise that we would like to honor your parents and also Gail, Brian, Vicky, and Gail, to light our Shabbat candles in honor of the two of you.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Can't even make it through candle lighting.
Amen. So we welcome the presence of Shabbat with the words of Shalom Aleichem. When our tradition teaches us, angels of Shabbat arrive at the home of those who have prepared and are ready for Shabbat. This is a pivotal moment when we not only acknowledge Shabbat, but recognize that we have made and welcomed Shabbat. So let's continue.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi
screen is now in speaker view, we invite you to return to the gallery view at the top right of your screen so that we can feel the presence of our community as we continue with the prayer Ahavat Olam, thanking God for the beauty of this earth and the meaning within it is found in the gift of Torah.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. You can call and respond from your home. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, ya, la, la, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Now let's join together in the prayer for our caregivers and those suffering from the pandemic. Let's read together. We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world. Helpless and confused, we turn to you, seeking comfort, faith, and hope. Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak. Our young must take care of our old. Help each one of us to do our part to halt the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of this battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless their efforts, God. Fill our leaders with the wisdom and the courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us, grace us with your love, bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. And let us all say, Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Lishalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu l'chaim, Uvros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Shalom. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Thank you to the Novisky family to live.
So as we return to gallery view, inviting the presence of our entire community, we turn to the Amidah, a prayer during Shabbat where we can offer words of gratitude, of thanks to God for the gifts that God has given us in our lives. And so I invite you to rise either in spirit or in body as we open up our Amidah, inviting God, inviting ourselves to offer words of praise to God.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi agid tilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, lai.
If you take a moment of silent reflection and prayer, I invite you to reflect privately, or if you feel so inclined, to share a word of gratitude, something you are grateful for this Shabbat, in the chat box below. And after you've completed your prayer, your meditation, I invite you to be seated. And as we watch these words of gratitude come by, I invite us all at this time to recite a prayer of courage and consolation, a prayer for our country. And so let us join together. Holy One of blessing, grant us the will to stand firm in the face of evil and hostility, not to be silent or afraid, to work diligently and faithfully to banish wickedness from the earth. Holy One of blessing, grant us the courage and resolve to speak when there is hatred, to act when there is confusion, to join with others in building a world of safety, understanding, and acceptance. Because there is hate, dear God, help us heal our fractured and broken world. Because there is fear, dear God, grant courage and faith to those in need. Because there is pain, dear God, bring healing to the shattered and wounded. Because there is hope, dear God, teach us to be a force for justice and kindness. Because there is love, dear God, help us to be a beacon of light and compassion. As it is written, be strong and let your heart have courage. Depart from evil, do good, seek peace, and pursue it. So we hope that these prayers are accepted to God, and we offer that intention and that offering of prayer with Iu Loretto.
Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you. Oh, my rock, and my redeemer.
So at this time, we turn our attention to those who are in need of healing, healing of mind, of body, of spirit, or of the soul, those searching for courage and strength. And so if you are thinking of someone this evening close to you, or who is in your mind, who is in our world, who is in need of healing, I invite you to place their name or names in our chat box. And then we'll join together with a word of prayer, asking God for healing upon them and upon all of us.
Mishe
For Shabbat, we also give thanks to God for the sacred moments that we've shared this past week. And I do want to acknowledge some of the events that were shared with me by email this week. We have many birthdays, and so I want to wish a happy birthday to Carolyn Kramer. I also want to wish a happy birthday to Lila Goldstein, the mother of Deborah White, who, in the words, it's her 88th birthday. I know she's on the call, and in the words of her daughter, she is stuck in Florida, would normally be up north at this time. And so we wish her a happy birthday as well. And can you please raise your hand if you celebrated a birthday this week? I know there are many. You're on my page. I think there are about 15 pages to look through. So I wish all of you a happy birthday. How about anniversaries? I know it's Tim and Karen's 40th anniversary. I see the Foxy's on my page, but I bet there are others raising their hand as well. I just want to wish you a happy anniversary. Some mazel tov.
And Rabbi,
Yes.
we also acknowledge that it's Shanna's parents, Vicky and Brian Zell's 42nd anniversary yesterday.
Beautiful. Mazel tov to you. I want to acknowledge anyone who has lost his or her first tooth. Someone like Ella Sapphire, perhaps, who lost a first tooth this week. But raise your hand if you lost your first tooth. Not that you lost a tooth, because that may include more people. But your first tooth, so Ella, mazel tov. I also know that several members of our community retired this past week after a long and fulfilling career. And I received an email that 3 wonderful TBE members retired from Boston University, the faculty. And so Steve Malinsky, who celebrated 50 years at BU, Alan Mitchell, 45 years, and Larry Ellsworth, 38 years, all at BU, quite a career. And so we acknowledge you as well as anyone else. If you have celebrated healing this week, good health, recovery, we invite you to raise your hands. And then, of course, this week we have something very special, which is the aufruf of our Cantor, Shanna, to Josh. They will celebrate their wedding on Sunday. As many of you know, we have been touched by Shanna's presence as our Cantor these past several years. She has influenced many of us, including our youth. And so on this evening in which we celebrate their upcoming marriage, we've invited one of her students, Asher Novisky, who has composed a song to the love poetry of the Bible, Shir HaShirim. And so, Asher, I'm going to turn it over to you to set the context for this evening of blessing.
So this is a song that I wrote with Shanna for my bar mitzvah, and as Joel said, the lyrics are from a blessing that's used in the wedding ceremony. And I should mention that I edited them a little bit so that it would fit the occasion. Achoteinu atai le'alfei rivava, our sister, may you be the mother of generations yet to be. When a new life came knocking, Shanna left her home to live with her beloved, and she heard these words, Achoteinu atai le'alfei rivava, our sister, may you be the mother of generations
absolutely beautiful. We thank you. Normally, we would all be gathered in the sanctuary surrounding Shanna and Josh with great love. So I'm just going to extend my arms to touch the Zoom cells next to me as we ask for God's blessing upon you, Shanna and Josh, on this beautiful evening. And so Cantor Suffren, if you'll begin by leading us.
Yes, with pleasure. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et hechatan ve'et hakala ve'yatzliach et darkam asher yelchu ba mehayom ve'hal'a. And I turn it over.
May God, who blessed our ancestors, bless this bride, Shanna, and this groom, Josh. Guide them on life's journey. May their marriage be a joy and a good example to all who know them.
May they fashion a Jewish home worthy of praise, a secure refuge where they find shalom, tranquility during all their days together.
And may the love of this couple inspire and bless their family, their friends, their loving congregation, of which they have become such a special part. And may they inspire the community of Israel and all those around them. Let us all say, Amen. And this gives us great hope for the future. The world needs love. And so we celebrate your love. This is a good sign for things to come. And so Cantor Suffren, will you lead us with the Freilich Simmentov?
You bet, and dance or clap along, everybody. Rabbi, you dance in the sanctuary for all of us. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov, yehi lanu. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov, yehi lanu.
So for all of these things, for another year of life, birthdays, for love and anniversaries, for meaningful careers, for healing, and for small socially distant weddings, we give thanks to God. And so let's join together with Shehechia.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Shanna and Josh, once again, Mazel Tov. We
Mazel
look
tov.
day, and we look forward to re-entering our sanctuary one day, God willing soon, when we can all gather and give you big hugs. So Mazel Tov. So I do want to share a few words with all of you this evening. But before I begin, I just want to thank Rabbi Sherman, who has worked incredibly hard preparing our adult engagement opportunities this summer. And I want to thank Rabbi Sapphire, who's been working with our youth, and really thank our entire temple team for planning a summer full of programming. As you well know, this year is very different than years past. Rather than slowing down during the summer, we have actually increased our opportunities for engagement in prayer and in Torah and in social justice as well. And so I hope you'll continue to stay involved in the life of our community this summer. I'll actually be teaching 2 courses this summer, starting very soon. One on my favorite verses in the entire Torah, with each class focusing on one specific verse. And then I'll be teaching a second course beginning in a couple of weeks on the American Jewish experience in film, where we'll watch Hester Street and the movie The Chosen, and for the last session, a movie called Avalon from 1990, a film that many of you may remember. Avalon tells the story of a Jewish family assimilating in America, in Baltimore in the 1950s. And one of the most memorable scenes in the entire film actually takes place on the holiday of Thanksgiving, when the entire family excitedly gathers around the Thanksgiving table with the sanctity and decorum of Passover, joyfully embracing that most American of American rituals, until one member of the family arrives to the home late and sees the rest of the family eating, and he yells at the top of his lungs, "You cut the turkey without me?" And immediately family chaos ensues. And I mention this scene not to focus on family issues or argument or banter or the dramatic arc of the film, but I mention this scene because of Thanksgiving and the role that civil holidays have always played in the life of the Jewish people. As the great Jewish historian Jonathan Sarna likes to say, when looking at the Jewish experience, when the Jews came to America, they became American, only more so. Meaning, if America celebrated a holiday, the Jews did too, only more so. If there was a great social issue of the day that required fighting and protesting and engaging, the Jews ran to engage and protest, only more so, embracing civic life and law and politics and education, always pushing to move our country forward towards the promised land. Which leads me to today and Juneteenth. For I believe that we as a Jewish community have an important role to play. For after all, we Jews are good at defining holidays of remembrance. And Juneteenth is still in its early stages. Yes, Juneteenth has been observed by Blacks in America since 1866. But it wasn't until 2007 when Governor Deval Patrick acknowledged Juneteenth as a state holiday in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's a holiday that is now recognized by 48 other states in our nation, not yet Hawaii. And it was not until only recently, this week, when many companies actually made it a paid vacation day for their workers. But it was on this day, June 19th, 1865, 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, and a full 2 months after General Lee's surrender at Appomattox, that Major General Gordon Granger arrived to the far reaches of the United States, that was then Galveston, Texas, and announced that the Civil War was over and that all slaves should be free. The scholars wonder why it took so long for this important news to travel to Texas. One theory is that a messenger was actually murdered along the way. And so it took a while for the message to travel and a new messenger ultimately be sent to Galveston. Another theory is that federal officials intentionally delayed the announcement to allow owners to keep their slaves for one last cotton harvest. But for whatever reason, June 19th became the day that in all of the United States of America, the word was proclaimed that all people should be free. And yet we all know that slavery did not end on that day. In fact, records showed that on some plantations in Texas, the masters never even announced the news to the slaves. Even in Galveston, the ex-Confederate mayor completely ignored Granger's decree and forced the slaves back to work. You could see lots of black folks hanging to trees right after freedom, said Hayes Turner, a former slave. They whipped me after the war just like they did before, she said. And so if slavery and racism didn't really end on June 19th, why do we celebrate Juneteenth as a holiday? And for that, I think that is where our Jewish wisdom can come in. Because we too celebrate a holiday of freedom, Passover, a day that remembers that we were slaves 3,000 years ago. But what Passover does so well is not just recall that we were slaves in Egypt, but reminds us that the declaration of freedom is not where the journey ends, that there's still work to do in the pain and the hardship of the desert, the pain that we read about in this week's Torah portion. And there's still so much work to do to ultimately arrive to the promised land. And for me, that is Juneteenth, a day to remind us that there is still work to be done, that we as a nation have not lived up to the promise that all people should be free. On Passover, we're told to remember. It says remember over 120 times in the Bible. You were slaves in the land of Egypt. Exodus 22. Do not mistreat the widow or the orphan, because remember, you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Deuteronomy 24, verse 17. Do not deny justice to the foreigner or the fatherless, because remember, you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Deuteronomy 24, 19. If you are harvesting in your field and forget a sheaf there, do not go back to get it. Leave it for the foreigner, the fatherless, the widow, the needy, because remember, you were slaves in the land of Egypt. We're told over and over again, remember, remember, remember. Remember your history so that you may gain strength to fight for justice and march to the promised land. Remember the events that you endured. Remember the people that have gone before you. Remember Eric Garner. Remember Trayvon Martin. Remember Michael Brown and Emmett Till and George Floyd and countless others. Not to live in the past, but to gain strength for the days ahead. So that one day, as our Torah tells us, we may proclaim liberty throughout the land, through love and law and compassion, and recognize that every human being was created equal and created in the image of God. But we know it takes work. I do want to say this week, I'm thankful for the Supreme Court decision granting equal rights to our LGBTQ community. And I will save my comments for that historic judgment for another time. It is deserving of our attention. But when it comes to race in America, we have a lot of work to do. And on this Shabbat, the Shabbat of Juneteenth, I hope you've seen the lists from our Racial Justice Initiative. We will support Black-owned businesses, as you know, that continually confront the challenges of systemic racism. We'll work against economic disparity left from decades of racism and discrimination. I hope you'll support our own Archie LaSalle. I hope Archie's on. He's a Shabbat regular. I hope he's here somewhere this evening, because Archie has created an effort called Where Are All the Black People At? He's done incredible work. Many of you know, Archie is an artist, a teacher, and a photographer. and now as one shining light who is bringing attention to the racism that pervades much of the art world, even right here in Boston. And we're going to marshal our forces to have a deeper presence of the Black community in our museums in Boston. You'll hear more in the week ahead. We'll support our own Ed Gaskin with his work in Grove Hall. We'll work on voter registration and combat voter suppression. We'll educate ourselves to be anti-racist. And I hope we'll lead the way in the national observance of Juneteenth. Because my guess is that it will soon reach the House floor. It has passed the Senate, but it will reach the floor because we are witnessing the beginning of a unique time in history. As Archie said to me this week, as Archie protested during the 60s, he said, Rabbi, this is the 60s on speed. We are witnessing a new day. And now we're witnessing a new holiday as a result of these protests. And it's an important day, a day a long time in coming, and a day that we can help shape, a day that should challenge us to do the hard work that is necessary so that all people can arrive to the promised lands. And we Jews know how to observe holidays. We have lots of them, and it is time for us to observe Juneteenth with all Americans, only more so. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.
Didn't know they dimmed your fire, erased your glow. Too little justice and so much pain can bring you back now, but I can say your name. Oh, we cry for you like good brothers. We'll say your name. I'll tell my daughter, I'll tell my sons to fight for justice, to fight for love, so you'll live in us and through our change as we move forward. Say your name, so we cry for you like good brothers do. And we know this has to change, and so we'll say your name. Though we know there is so much to do, so to heal the hurt, to make things right, I'll stand by you and yours right through it all. We'll share your pain, we'll join your fight. So we cry for you like good brothers do. And we know this has to change. It has to change. So we'll say your name. Say your name. So we'll say your name. Say your name. So we'll say
That was a new piece by the Maccabees, and really an extraordinary piece. Let us now continue with the words of Mourner's Kaddish and invite those of you who are in mourning to please type the names of those individuals you're remembering in the chat room at this time. And I want to mention the names of those members of our community or relatives of members of our community who have passed during the past 30 days. Barbara Waldorf Abraham, Carol Blumenthal, Anna Martinez Bonnet, Richard Kleinberg, Eugene Cohen, Joseph Roby, Ricky Schuster, Barbara Salakian, Sandy Solon, and Benjamin David Slavitt. We also think of all of those who passed away at the season in years past, and I especially call to mind Daniel Cohen and Stanley Kleeman. Let us just take a moment so that people can type the names of those individuals they're remembering. And then if you're a mourner in our midst, if you're observing a yahrzeit or have lost a parent during the past 11 months, or an immediate family member during the past 30, we invite you to please rise at this time or raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you as a mourner. And then Rabbi Sherman, if you'll place the words of Mourner's Kaddish so that the mourners can now join with me with the words Yitgadal v'Yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad yivrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed chol Beit Yisrael. V'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei d'kudashah b'richu. Le'la min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran mi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yal kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yal kol Yisrael.
And a few announcements before we celebrate over juice and challah. First, we will join together for Torah study tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we will have community Havdalah at 6:30 in the evening. This will be the last Havdalah in this format. We are hoping later on in the summer to join together outside, perhaps in the TBE parking lot as we gather safely. So please stay tuned for more information about further community Havdalahs. As Rabbi Sisenwine mentioned, there is so much going on at the temple, many new things starting this week, adult engagement almost every day of the upcoming week. I want to call your attention to a few special programs. First of all, on Monday evening, we will have a film conversation on the powerful film Just Mercy, quite relevant for this time. I encourage you to join us and watch the film in advance if you have not already seen it. And I also would love to lift up on Tuesday evening, our Community Conversations team will host another round of community chats. This time they will be centered around conversations and topics that are of interest to you. So we hope that you will check out the eBlast for further news, and also those of you who have youth in our community want to call your attention to the survey, as we are hoping to launch filled month of July of youth programming and TBE summer experiences.
Rabbi Sisenwine, I'm so glad that you mentioned that there are individuals in our community who are retiring, which means that we have more T-Bell teachers. So if you are, if you have recently left your place of employment and you have a long, oh, there's Poppy. And we would love to have you teach in our T-Bell program.
Great. So we're looking forward to the new summer semester beginning real soon. Let us now celebrate with Kiddush. And then Ava, you're going to be on for Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. The best laid plans. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikrayei kodesh zecher tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'chata v'yotanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'achava uvratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadosh HaShabbat. Amen.
So Cantor, all these years you've watched young parents struggle with their crying babies as the Kiddush. My prayer for you is you get to do the same thing now for many years.
Thank you, Rabbi. That's my hope, and nothing is sweeter. But
So,
I apologize.
No, a beautiful sound, a beautiful sound. So Ava, you become bat mitzvah on Zoom tomorrow. And so tonight we grant you the honor of leading us in Motzi. You ready? You have a challah?
Uh-huh.
Hey, a beautiful one. Here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go, Ava.
Okay. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or a woman may choose a radical leaving. Having heard Lech Lecha, go forth.
And now, Ava, if you'll put a hand on the challah and lead us in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Baruch atah Adonai Habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'chava.
We're going to coach you through this. This is Hamotzi Lechem. You've got so many,
Lechotzi lechem
so
in
many
bar.
blessings
Ava, you
on
are
your
so
mind.
ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, totally.
Do it again.
Together. Ready?
You know
Wrong
the
one.
Hamotzi.
Oh, I have a different paper.
Okay. Hamotzi lechem in
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen. Lace it up. Lace it up, Ava.
Mazel tov, Ava.
Take a
Mazel tov.
taste.
Shanna and Josh, I want to say Shabbat Shalom. Will be in our sanctuary next week. I pray that it's a week of health and joy and a deep, deep love. Let us now greet each other with the Shabbat Shalom by unmuting everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
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 Josh.
Happy.
Oren.
Shalom, Sarah.
Shalom.
And my Cantor.
That's not going to keep changing. Everybody's
Shanna and Josh.
Shalom, Sasha.
Shanna and Josh.
Shalom.
Oh.
Is here. Oh, we moved.
Shalom, Warren and Debbie.
Not there.
Wave to them.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Whenever.
Mazel tov, Shanna and Josh.
Oh, thank you.
What do you mean we're not leaving?
You said to stay.
There's only 6 pages
Shabbat
left.
shalom, Judy and Jill Kurtz.
Shabbat shalom.
It's so nice. Yeah, it's nice to hear the names of everybody.
Oh, there's Judy and Joel.
Yay.
Hi, Judy and Joel.
Ethan. Hi, Judy and Joel.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
Shalom.
All right. I don't know.
Sarah, your background is amazing. Thank you.
Love you. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
I don't want any of it and people.
There's a lot of people and Jen. Hi, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you, rabbis. Thank you, Cantor.
There's Arthur. Hi, Arthur. We're back.
Me and Joel are getting a lot of shout outs.
Hi, Eva.
Sharon's president was on it.
Hey, Gailey.
Mazel tov, Becca.
Hi,
We're so
sweetie.
excited for Ava.
Hi, Jacob.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
There you go.
We love you.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Jacob.
Where's Barbara?
Kisses.
Oh,
Barbara was here. I don't know. They're the Schwartzes. Hi, Abby. Hi, Ronnie. Where's Allison? and
oh, there they are.
And
Ryan and Vicky.
Hey, Terry.
Hi, Grandma. Grandma.
Oh, nice.
Everybody, thanking Grandma and you. All right, and the Ticks. I have seen you the whole time. Thank you for being with us.
Hello, Mom.
Yay, this is the best. And Meta is here from Denmark, and Aunt Marilyn and Uncle Murray. Good to see you.
Nice.
And the Hoadleys and Shira, it's so good to see you. And
Mazel tov,
Lila,
Ryan
happy
and
birthday.
I can't see you.
And the Sobels, I'm like, and the Cohens. Amazing.
Shabbat shalom from Cherry Hill.
Yeah, hi Julie. Thanks for being on.
Shanna and Josh, I wish you the best.
Oh, thanks, Grandma.
Thanks.
Thanks, Grandma. So
Thanks
glad
for
you were
joining.
able to make it. It means so much.
It's been beautiful. It really has.
Wow. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We're- Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
she is. Mazel tov.
Kelly.
And Bud. It's good to
I love you guys. Congratulations.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov, Shanna and Josh.
Judy, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Aunt Lee Nan is on.
Yeah, you can't see me.
Yeah, I'm on the show. Muted.
Jenny.
All these people in our community. Lila, happy birthday.
They're dropping off like flies.
I know. We're dropping off the flies. We're not going anywhere.
Can I say it, Harry and Judy? LFGM.
What's that?
LFGM.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
It's a sports thing.
It is a sports thing.
I got that much. Oh,
I
hi.
don't do sports, sorry.
Hey,
Must on me.
Oh, Aunt Lee Nan. Oh, no, we saw her.
Hi, Terry.
Hi. Hi, Lee Nan. Oh, we should have had her art behind us tonight. That would have been so nice. Your art in our office. So happy to have it. Mwah, mwah. What a dream. And the Hoadley, Shira, I saw that wave. Hello, Shira. Ingrid, hello. And Jay and Mary, hello. We love this. This is the best way to have services. Let's just hang out with everybody all night long. This is amazing.
Jenny.
Hi, buddy.
do I do?
Log off when you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys, our TBE congregants, you are part of the you're part of the Zell Mondshein family now. This is the Oneg. You're hanging out, and Gail and Mom and Dad. Just a lot of the folks on here are actually people that we went to Israel with as well. So Mary and yeah, Jay's probably signing in Hebrew right now. Yeah, he emails in Hebrew. It's beautiful. And there's so many of our amazing congregants just here with us, and it's so nice to be able to blend family and community, because truly our family has been our community, and truly our community has become our family. And so I think I don't want this to end. I think it's just the beginning.
I'm impressed that so many people said hi to Judy and Joel. I kept hearing everybody, hi Judy, hi Joel. A lot of love tonight.
Now, most people here are really good singers, but I like to sing "A Blessing on Your Head." Mazel tov.
We'll take it.
Many blessings.
We're a fiddler crew for sure. They're here.
Mazel tov, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. We can't wait to see you soon, God willing. In person one day soon. So it'll be our that's the real blessing upon our head, is to be able to see each other in person when it's safe.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Jenny Lynn.
Hi. Wonderful. All right. So I suppose if we decide to end, or we leave, I don't know. You guys are going to keep partying? Is this how the party goes?
Could be.
Way to leave.
We have some packing to do.
Wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Oh, hi, Neil.
Hello.
Neil,
Shabbat shalom. I've been on multiple machines. I just saw this one was still on, so this is a great
Mom,
time.
do you see Neil? Do you see Neil Wallach?
Of course I did.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't see Neil all
You text
night.
every week.
Yeah, we have
I know. Your friendship. Oh, hi, Judy.
Shabbat shalom, mazel tov to you all.
Thank you so much. Shabbat
Thank
shalom. Mwah, we love you all so much. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon.
Love you too. Safe journey. Love you.
See you tomorrow.
Yes. Yes, yes.
See some of you tomorrow.
Yes. I wish it were everybody.
Thanks for joining, Gaily.
Great job.
Great job.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, we love you guys.
Shalom.
Bye.
Good night.
Love you.
Good night.
Bye.